Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. In this module, I want to talk about how to create charts in Excel. I'm going to look at a column chart, a line chart, a pie chart, and a combination chart. So first of all, on the screen, I have a completed chart, which we will recreate in a second. I'm just going to click on this chart. So when you click on a chart, you get these resizing handles around the side, these little circles, which allows you to make this bigger or smaller by just getting the circle and dragging in or out. You've also got these little icons on the side on the top right. For example, the plus, if you click on that, you have a few features there. Some of them are ticked already, but if you hover over some of these, you'll get like a preview. So that's a table underneath. Look, I'm not going to click any of these on, but this is showing you what it does. You've also got this little paintbrush. If I click on the paintbrush, it's going to give us some different styles. Again, you can hover over them and it'll give you the preview of what that style would look like. I'll leave it as it is. And then you've got this funnel, which is basically a filter where you can tick things on or off. So if I tick the British off and apply, that will remove the British from this chart, and you can only see the French and the Prussians. And then if I want to bring the British back, I tick them back, and then I apply, and back they come. If you want to delete this chart, which I do because I'm going to recreate it, I'm going to press delete and I get rid of it. Now to recreate that, I need to highlight this data and I'm just going to pick it up like that. I'm not picking up the total row or the total column, but you might want to do it. Now there are key commands to get charts. The first one is the Alt key and F1. That will give you a default clustered column chart, which I'm going to delete. If I press F11 on the keyboard, that will give me the same chart on a different sheet. And I'm going to come back onto this one. And then to go through the wizard to do it, you're going up to Insert, and then you've got your charts in the middle. So I want to go through column, line, pie first of all. So in the column area, you have some more options. Look, so you can hover over these and see the preview, and you might like them, but what you've got to make sure is that your data matches up the chart. So this one, I want the first option, which is a 2D clustered column chart, and that's what I'm going to select. Now to move the chart, best way to do it is to sit on the line around the box of the chart and pick it up, and you can move the whole thing underneath the data. I want to make this a little bit wider, so I'm just going to drag that to the right a little bit. Now the chart title, if I click on that, you can actually type Waterloo casualties in there, but I can also do this. I can go on the formula bar, type equals, click on Waterloo casualties, and then tick, and then that will suck that into the actual chart. And those two now will always be linked together. So if I change this, the chart will automatically update. Now to format a chart is a quite easy process. Basically, you just need to double click where you want to format. So my mouse is saying chart area. If I point to that, that'll be the chart title and things like that. Whatever you double click, it will bring on a pane. So I'm going to double click in the top right hand corner, and it will open up the format chart area because that's where I double clicked. If I click on the title, that will change to format title. If I click on one of these columns, data series, etc., etc. So if that's already on the screen, you're just basically clicking around and it will change it over. If that's not on the screen, you are double clicking. So if I double click on the title, it will come up with format chart title. So you can't really go wrong with that. Now I'm going to click on the chart area because it's a chart area that I want to focus on. Now you have a few options at the top there. You've got chart options and then text options. I'm going to concentrate on chart options, and in there you've got the paint pot, and then what looks like a bishop's hat, which is to do with making things fancy, soft shadow and gradient and stuff like that, and then some properties in terms of size and alignment and things like that on the last one. But I'm going to concentrate on this paint pot one for this. And you've got fill, you've got border. Border is all opened up. I don't want the border. I'm not doing the border. I want to do the fill. So this is the background fill. where I had the picture before. So first option says no fill. Guess what that does? No fill, see through, so you can see the grid lines behind. Second says solid fill, and you get a color option there. I'll pick orange, which is a bit in your face, but you can use this sort of transparency bar to fade that out a little bit. Okay, that's okay. Gradient fill, I'm not a fan of this, but if I come up, you start off on the left hand side like that. You pick a color, so I'll pick orange. So that's orange, and then wherever you do a gradient by clicking, there's already some there, but by clicking you change the color to something else, and then you do another gradient and change it to something else. Go for green. You can see how that works, and the last two are still there from before. Now once you've done that, you can change the direction of this if you want. You can make the thing go left, go right, above, or whatever. You've got the thing set to lines or linear. You can go radial, and then the direction option will have, for example, a bullseye option, which looks pretty naff. None of that is something I would do, but it's just a feature. I'm going through these options. Next one down though is what I would do if it is relevant. Picture. Now when you click on that, you get these what look like kitchen top tables, apart from that one. 1970s style or 80s style kitchen tops. Very old, not great. Not using any of those. What I want to do is put a picture in the background of that. So picture, you need to click on insert, and then it will give you the option to get from file or go onto the internet or stock images or whatever. I'm going to go from file, and then I'm going to navigate to where it is on this computer, which is in documents, and this option here, files for SharePoint. There's some files in there. That's the file I had. Scott's Grays at Waterloo. Now obviously that needs to be the transparency bar needs to come across a bit, so that's not taking over everything like that. Okay, so that's all I want to do in there. Patterns you wouldn't use because that's like the shaded area. Now I want to put a figure above this column, so I'm clicking on the red column and all the red columns are selected. Now I'm going to the plus and I'm going for data labels, and then that'll put the figure just above there. So if I didn't do that and just clicked on data labels, all of the figures would go above all of the columns, which I didn't want to do. So that's a column chart. Now the next one is a line chart, and I don't need to do the formatting now. I'm going to get rid of that. Click on the corner of the chart, press delete. This time I'm going to highlight from the yellow cell to the yellow cell and go to insert line, and the one I want, again, you don't just pick any random one. The one I want is that one, line with markers, and then I'm going to make that a bit wider, like so. The chart title, I'll click on that, I'll do that again. So you go on the formula bar, you type equals, you click on where it says the title, sales target, you click the tick, and then those two things are joined together. Now, having looked at this, you might decide you don't like this layout. So I don't like this layout, and I want to change this into what's called a combination chart by changing this blue line to a column. So I'm clicking on the blue line. I'm going up onto the top there where it's got chart design, and I'm clicking change chart type. In there, it's already picking up that I want to do a combo, but I don't want that one. I want the first one where it's like that. So there's the target line, the red line, and there's the actual. Then I'll click OK to that, and I think that looks better. So remember, a chart should always tell you a story. It should be easier to look at the chart than look at this data. If it's not, you've done it wrong. Now the next one is a pie chart, and we've got two pie charts here, so I'm just going to delete these two off. And let's get the men. So for the men, I'm highlighting from the blank cell. That's so I can get the label, male. You highlight the data, you go insert, you select pie. 3D pie is what I want. And then In this example, I don't want the labels down there because I want them on the segments. So to get those, you're going on the plus, you go into data labels, you follow it around or along to the chevron, and then you select data callouts like so, and then just click off that for a minute. Now, when you do a pie chart, you normally pull out a segment. So I'm going to click on this little green segment. Now, when I click that, all of the segments were clicked, but if I click it again, only the green one's clicked, and I can then pull that one out. And then last but not least, I want to click in the top right hand corner and set a size for this. So to do that, I'm going format. I want this to be a 7 centimeters square. So on the right there, you've got some measurement boxes. I'm going 7. And then on this one, I also want to do 7. Get rid of the centimeters. And then press enter on that, and then you get a 7 centimeters square. And then I'm going to move that across underneath the table. And now I need to do the females. Now to do the females, I obviously need to miss out the male. So I'm highlighting from the blank yellow cell all of the dates. Then I'm holding my control key down, clicking on the word female and all the figures for female. That's how you miss out a column using your control key. Then insert pie, 3D pie, and then you're repeating the process for the females. So I don't want these dates across the bottom because I want them on the segments. So data labels, follow the chevron across, data call out, click off that, and then click back on your chart. Pull out the green segment by clicking on it, waiting, click again so it's isolated, slide it out, not too far. Click in the corner, top corners, go up to format, select 7 centimeters squared, 7 and 7, press enter on the last one, and then move that so it's side by side like so. Now, if you've got lots of different charts like this, not just one or two, you can do this. If I hold my shift key down, so that one's selected, it's got the little circles on it. If I hold my shift key down and click the other one, they're both selected. They're slightly out of alignment there, so I'll have to click off it a little bit. So I'll try and get these into alignment so they're next to each other. That needs to just come up a little bit. Shift key, highlight them both. Right click on the line on either one and select group, and then group again, and then these will become a pair. There's a bigger box, so you can move them as a pair now. I can still move them individually, but I have this extra box where I can move them as a set. So it's quite useful when you're creating dashboards, what's called dashboards, where you've got lots of little charts. You want to move certain sets around like so. So that's how you do that with the group feature. Now, next one I want to look at is charts on 2 axes. Click on that one. So this is where you've got figures, in this case money, and students, which are quite different in numbers. So you've got a large number and small number. This is what's called a combination chart with 2 scales. You can see this. Now I'm going to delete this and highlight all of this data and get myself what's called a combo chart straight away. So insert combo is this one. Click on that one and it gives you a few options. Now that's no good. The line's flat. That one in the middle is what I want. So you can see you've got 2 scales. One for the money is the blue bar, and then the red line for students is on the right there, 2 different scales. I'm not going to change the chart types. Now if I come back one to maps, you've got 2 options on maps. You've got a filled map with the whole of the UK and a map which is just showing the areas that have data. So this is the maps feature here. Now you need to have Microsoft Bing active on this, and you need to have the internet for this to work. So I'm just showing you this. I'm not going to redo this, but that's basically what I've done there. If you click on this, you can see what I've highlighted to get this data like so. And if I double click on this, it will come up with the format for this, and you can see the settings that you can select from there. You've got a few different options at the top as well. I'm liking that black, so make it black. What does that look like if I make it black? not as good, but okay. So that's the maps. And so we've covered a column chart and formatted that. We did a line chart. We changed that to a combination chart. We did a pie chart, and we did a chart with two axes. It's when you've got figures that are vastly different. And then finally, we've just had a quick look at maps. So that's all I want to talk about in this little video. So hopefully that was of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.